Changing DNA and chromosomes. Listen, bienvenido, and Joaquin. I hope each and every one of you feel welcome. If you have already subscribed to the channel, thank you so much. I appreciate you. If you have not subscribed to the channel, could you do me a favor? Pause. Yes, just push pause real quick and get through clowning, we can go and get into this topic, right? Listen, I want to start this topic off, and this topic is deep, right? It's probably going to be one of my longer topics of the night because it's deep. I want to talk about therapy, relationships, and change. Yeah, I want to talk about therapy, relationships, and change. We're going to jump right in, y'all. Listen, in most cases, relationships, you have a couple that have some issues, whatever they are, and they're talking about them. They've been talking about them for weeks, months, even years maybe. And there's been promises to change. We've had conversations, we've sat down, we've built some plans and some boundaries. We've had conversations, we've set some ground rules, and things are going to change. I'm going to change. It's going to change. I promise you. Just give me a minute. I'm going to show you change. Listen, this is deep because my brain is wired how it's wired. And if you've been watching the channel, y'all know I'm a deep thinker. I go off the Richter scale with my thoughts sometimes. And this is like, some of you are going to agree and be like, I never thought of it that way. Some of you are going to be like, Destiny done went back, clickety, click, click, crack, crazy. Okay? But listen, I'm going to tell you. What makes us up? Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not big on a lot of topics in school. I ain't big on anatomy and whatever else, the human body and how we were taught, how we were. Listen, the average person knows chromosomes and DNA is what made us. Okay? I think I'm intelligent enough to know that much. It might even be molecules. Do we have molecules that puts us together? Just chromosomes and DNA. See how I got a little wacky in that thought process? It don't matter. DNA. DNA makes us all. Go on Ancestry and My Heritage and all those things. It's the DNA. It's the blood that runs in your veins. It's the people before you and all of those traits, characteristics, traits and things and bloods and personality, all those things that made you who you are. That's why something about you could come from your grandmother, your great-grandmother, your uncle, your cousins. It's all in the family. It's all in the DNA. How you were created, your family dynamic and makeup. Chromosomes have something to do with that because that's what makes us boy or girl. So I know a little bit, right? Listen, y'all, this is deep because I'm gonna stop clowning because this is deep. I don't think people can change. You can get quiet and pause the video and let's sit in that if we need to. I don't think people can change. Here's why. What are we changing? We're changing our DNA. What are we changing? If I sit down with my husband and have a conversation with him for weeks and trust that he's going to change, what is he changing into? Is he going to morph into the Incredible Hulk? I just probably told my age, but it's okay. Seriously, what is he going to morph into? What change? My husband, now this is not a real story because I currently do not have a husband, but my husband, John Brown, is John Brown. He been John Brown for 40 years, okay? He look how he look. Looks might have changed over the years, but John look how John look. John walk how John walk. He talk how he talk. He smell how he smell. Everything about him is who he is. You know, we say, I am who I am. I'm just this way. And John Brown, my husband that I don't have, is who he is because of DNA. chromosomes from being conceived made him who he is. Anybody, drop down in the comments and explain to me, how does one, a conversation with your spouse or a therapist, quote unquote, change you? How does change come about because you had a conversation? Baby, if you think about the depths of the words change and the meaning of change, like change, it's a switch. It's something completely different. It's not the same, is what change means. How can John go into therapy for 6 whole months and come out a changed person? Now, let me tell you what I believe can happen. I do believe you can suppress previous behaviors. I think you can push them on pause. I think you could even stop them temporarily. I think you can make some adjustments. You could probably appear to have changed for a short while or a certain period of time. But guess what's ultimately going to happen? John Brown is going to go back to being who John Brown is, because John was created in the image of John Brown. His DNA made him who he is. You can't change John until you change his DNA. And anybody know, please drop down in the comments, who's walking around changing DNA these days? Let's sit in that. I know people changing their appearance. You can get all this face work done. You can get all this boob work done. You can get all this booty work done. Who's changing DNA? I want the name of the doctors, the gods, the angels, the earth angels that's changing DNA. Because to me, that's the only change you could ultimately have, is a change in DNA. You've got to switch up who you are. You got to go in and do those neurotransmitters in your brain. Somebody's got to go and disconnect and rewire and create that. Your chromosomes, you might not even be John. You may come out Jane. Baby, tell me, how do you change? I went deep. I told y'all this was deep and different because I think differently like that. It's interesting to me because I think people really talk. I think change is like one of those cliche statements. We say it, but see, I'm a thinker. I don't just talk to talk. I think about things deep. I like to go like down there where the tree stumps and the roots are. I got to get up underneath things. And I'm like, having this conversation with Smooch, I'm like, change? Like, you can't, and I'm going to make this personal in a minute. This topic's going to be a little bit longer. I'm about to make this personal in just a moment. And I'm going to explain it better, giving myself the best example. I just don't believe we can just change. I believe, again, people will have a talk with a spouse and you'll see 2 to 3 weeks, a month or two of quote unquote change. They go right back. Like, he was doing good for about 2 or 3 months, then he went back to doing the same old stuff. Because his DNA didn't change. Because he is who he is. That's why. People will straighten up, button up, buckle up, strap it in, whatever they got to do to hush you up, make you feel like the conversation was worthy that we had, and they're going to make good on their word that they quote unquote changed. And baby, who you are ultimately comes right back to the surface, and then you're acting just like John Brown. That's who you are, John. John's not changing. I'm going to make this personal. The reason this topic resonates with me personally, and saying I don't believe in a real everlasting change. I believe people can push pause, tweak behaviors, temporarily stop and pause some things, but you're going to always be who you are. You're going to always be who you are. I'm going to tell you why. As a small child, I've always had a hot temper. Mild. I mean, you see me on YouTube now, I'm talking, and I'm usually trying to create some positive topics and content. So I'm a talker. However, before I got to be such a positive person in life, one would say I was a little hell raiser. Talk noise, because I'm short. I'm always sitting, so you really can't tell, but I'm short. And they say small things come in big packages. Small people always feel like they got to defend themselves, whatever. I guess I fell into that category, or some of those categories. Always defending myself, always letting people know I may be small, I may be short, but you're not about to play in my face, you're not about to play me, you're not about to try me, you're not about to do me. I've always been that person. And I think it's because of my size and my height. Not because I think I'm Billy Bad. I'm too small to think I'm Billy Bad. I'm too small to think I could like beat up the world. So it was never about, oh, I'm all that. But it's about I'm small, but I'm powerful, and you're not going to do but so much to me because I'm not going to allow it. So I think as a young girl, as a young person, always setting boundaries and letting people know, don't play in my face with so much, right? And then it followed me. It followed me throughout school, grade school, high school, always popping off at the mouth. You guys probably don't know this about me because I haven't talked about it a lot. I was a fighter in school. I fought all the time, every other day. I would get suspended from school 3 days, come back from the suspension and get suspended again because I'm in another fight. Because I was a C average student. There was a time in life I was an AB student. We had a very, very severe, close death in my family, and I just kind of got out of the loop, and I kind of was like a BC student. But I loved school. But yeah, when it came to people, I didn't play about people. Like, stop always trying me because I'm short, and because I talk a lot, everybody just wanted to pick fights with me and wanted to fight me, and I thought I was all that, and I thought I was this. I don't think I'm anything. I just want to be left alone. But I had to fight battles all the time. So I stayed, and I never started fights. I didn't bother people, but people had issues with me. I was a short chick with long hair, so I don't know if it was jealousy with kids. I always had long fingernails. We talked about that. If my hands are ashy, y'all mind y'all business, give me grace. I've always had long nails, long hair. I've always had what other people consider to be a nice shape. I don't know if it was jealousy. I don't know, because we didn't talk about those things in these arguments. It would just be stupid stuff. They would pick fights about, and I'm like, I'm here for it. Let's fight. I wasn't a talker, so when you let me know by way of an argument or a telephone call to my house or whatever it was, and you want to fight, I'm not going to school the next day talking. Let's just go ahead and rock it out. I was just a hothead, right? So with that being said, because I'm not here to talk about that, I'm not bragging about it. Nothing to ever brag about. I was a child. I was a hothead. It was what it was. I'm a full-grown woman now. The situation about that is this. I grew into that, right? And not only that, my mother, and I'm gonna use the term because that's just what she was. She was a hellraiser. My mama would, my mama would chew you up, spit you out, make you bleed from the neck, and not even put a blade to your neck. That woman, so I got it honest. I think it was because I was short with a little mouthpiece. It was a lot. I was who I was as a child because of that. My mom, when we get in trouble, she would fuss at us. We might get a whooping. And baby, you done took that whooping, laid down, took a nap, woke up. She's still cussing and going on and on and on about what you're like, you ain't through yet. So I know I got it from my mom. This woman would just talk. I'm like, you beat my behind. I woke up and you still in it. We'll walk around the house. I don't know who y'all think y'all are. And I'm like, she ain't tired yet. So I have it honest, right? Over the years, therapy, I do a lot of self-reflection. I do a lot of self-work. I do work that a therapist would do with me. I do it myself. I told you guys I have an associate's degree in psychology. I always wanted to be a therapist. So I feel like I have a lot of stuff anyway, naturally. But I will say, as many situations that have arrived in my life that I have chosen to ignore, shut down, walk away from, not engage in a negative, immature, argumentative way, there's been plenty. I've walked away. I've told people, I'm going to give you that one for free. You get a pass. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to fight you. I'm not going to. So many in my life. But here's the reason I'm talking about change. There is nothing in me that will ever believe that I can ever change from being a hothead or a hellraiser. Nothing. Nothing. That's always in me. That's who I am. Now, I am mindful of how I speak to people. I do my best to go out my way to be kind, pleasant, professional when need be. All of those things. But baby, I'm here to tell you, when you push that old button, you trigger that high school teenager. When you push so many buttons and you provoke me and you keep testing me and playing with me and trying me, I'm always going back to who I am. It's in my DNA to be a hellraiser. My mother was. I was all my life. So yes, as I say, I can push pause on that. We can hang out for 2 years straight. You be like, I've never seen you show out, girl, and you probably won't. I've never seen you act a certain way. You probably won't. You probably won't. But I can guarantee you, nothing about me in all my years of living has ever changed me from being that person. I'm not that person all the time, often or every day. But something can happen that can trigger the absolute hell out of me. And I am right back to that 16-year-old hothead kid at my seasoned, very seasoned age today. So that's where it really comes from. I had to think about what I was saying about, can people really change? We don't change. I mean, DNA would have to change you. Like, you could do some different things, tweak it, be a better person, evolve, stop doing some things you did in the past. But we cannot change. Our DNA has made us. How do you change unless you change your DNA? And that's when I got to thinking about, how can I apply this to myself? And I thought about it. I said, boom, that's it. You got it. You nailed it. You nailed it. I am never going to change from being a person to stand my ground, defend myself, talk my mess when somebody feels like they're trying to correct or straighten or shut me down. One, I'm a Capricorn. We are just not those people. We're very stubborn. And if you're bringing some nonsensical type of things to me, I'm a common sense type of person, so I'm going to shut that down with logic. So I'm mouthy. I've never not been mouthy. I've been mouthy since like 4 years old. It hasn't changed. It's never changed. It's not going to, because it's my DNA, right? So that's where it came from. Yes, I'm wiser, I'm older, I'm way more mature. I let a lot of stuff go. But baby, I am always going to shut it down verbally when need be. And at my seasoned age, if I ever had to fight somebody off, it may sound weird, it may sound odd, I would. And I mean, if an intruder came in my house, baby, unless you just shoot me dead, you coming in here to tussle or do anything weird to me, 16-year-old me is going to show up, because I've not changed. That fight in me is always going to be there. It's who I am. I'm a fighter. Right? So that's where that came from. I'm never going to change from being a hothead, hell-raising person that might throw hands at you if this age is about defending myself. I mean, even then it was, but I'm not just walking around here easily fighting like I did in school. You could look at me wrong and say, I don't like her. It's a fight to me in high school. I was, not as mature now. I let a lot of stuff go. I'm going to tell you a quick story, more of an example of me. One day, Smooch and I was at a seafood restaurant. Had never been there before. It didn't look, I don't know. I wanted some flounder, which is my favorite fish. And I'm like, at all costs, I'm going to get this fish. So we were in the restaurant and some things just kept going wrong. The lady was counting her money at the register, and then she went and did something in my bag. And I'm like, oh, ma'am, can you not, because y'all know I'm OCD. So I'm like, could you not do whatever it was she did? And she said, oh, well, I didn't touch your food. I said, yeah, but can you just not go in my bag? You like counting money. Like, your hands aren't clean. So that went from something to something. And I don't remember. This was years ago, right? But I'm hungry and I want my fish. So I'm not trying to stir up no chaos, right? I had I had a genuine request for you not to put your filthy hands with money in my bag. Period. And then something else happened. A lot of stuff kept happening. And then the manager came out and I told her, she seemed to be cool. She's going to go in the back. And then something. So all I know is at some point in time, I don't remember what set everything off, y'all, so forgive me. I just know, I don't even think I asked for my money back because I think I wanted that fish so bad. I think I asked him to put my stuff in another bag. I don't remember what it was. The manager comes back out from being okay, kind of, sort of nice. And by this time, I went into some really weird OCD crazy rage in my brain. And I remember taking my bag of food and the part of the bag that the woman had touched, I was standing over the trash can and I was ripping the bag. Smooch was with me, y'all. I was just ripping the bag, just like because in my brain, I'm always telling y'all I'm a problem solver. I'm not going to keep going back and forth with this woman. I'm going to let her be immature and ignorant by herself. I want this food and I want to be out of this restaurant. And I really wanted the food because me, I would shut restaurant type of behavior down quickly and just be out the door. And it wasn't one of those things where I made somebody mad and they're fixing my food. My food was on the counter. It was already ready. I don't know what I was waiting for. If I had asked for something, I don't remember. It doesn't even matter. But anywho, so the manager comes out. The lady had said something else to me, and I kind of got a little loud with her, but I kept it, like, I said it and I shut it down. Like, ma'am, I'm going to say this, and we both should be done with it. It was that type of situation, right? Well, she wanted to keep going. I was like, oh, gosh, let's get out of here. So I'm ripping the bag, just ripping the bag, like the part where I feel like her dirty, money hands touched it. And the manager runs out, what is going on out here? Da-da-da-da. And I'm thinking she's talking to her employee. Because, baby, I'm a whole grown adult, and I know you're not speaking to me in that manner. So I feel her, like, behind me, like, basically her breath down my back on my shoulders. And I'm counting in my head, like, ma'am, I'm going to need you to step back, get away from me, and leave me the hell alone, right? Smooch is off to the side. She knows me well, so she's just kind of like, oh, Lord, this is not about to go well. Because she knows me. Again, as I said earlier in the video, I'm a person where you can keep pushing my buttons, poking and poking, and da-da-da-da-da, until I go to that high school chick, that kid, right? Because I've matured. I'm going to let you act stupid and ignorant by yourself. I have evolved from that, but I ain't changed. My DNA is the same, right? So the lady just kept on. She kept on. She kept on. And she was like, I want to know what's going on. She just kept asking what's going on. And I'm thinking, I know she's not demanding for me to tell her what's going on. Because clearly I'm quiet, I'm silent, and I'm not engaging with your yelling behind me in my ear. So when she said it, like, for the umpteenth time, I don't even know if she said, I'm talking to you. Or she said something to let me know, like, I'm waiting on you to tell me what's happening. Which was the most ignorant thing, because as many times as you've asked what's happened, ask your employee. I don't owe you anything, ma'am, and I don't know you. And the manner in which you're talking is like you're talking to a child. So you got to be talking to somebody that you're over. You're over that girl. Talk to her. Listen, I whipped around like the Exorcist. Like I had a couple of different 3 or 4 heads on my neck. Because I had enough. And the moment I started to whip around, Smooch came flying like she had a cape and got between us because, baby, the energy, the vein out my neck, probably the one out my forehead, and the words out my mouth were so venomous, were so brutal. It was just straight venom out of my mouth. And I know I turned around and I said, who in the blippity blip 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 do you think you're talking to? Do I look like a blippity blip 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 child to you? Ma'am, I will rip you to blippity blip 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 pieces. Quit playing with me. At that point, lots of staff came out. And I get a little crazy in my head when I go. That's why I don't like to get to that level of anger. Because in my head, I could take all y'all on. There's probably about 10 people standing around. And they're all just kind of trying to figure it out. Some trying to engage with the yelling back and all this. And I'm like, one by one, like I'm at the bowling alley, I will take each and every one of you out. Y'all, this story is crazy. But again, I kept my cool. I was not engaging. I was ignoring. I was just trying to get out of there. Now, I had the food. I could have just walked out. I haven't paid you crazy people for your food. So could you stop being difficult? Take my money so I can go. This whole argument led all the way to the parking lot. And I believe it at that. It got ugly. I mean, nobody ever got into a fight. Nobody pulled out any weapons. I think Smooch's fear was it could have. And because they were like taking pictures of her car and stuff. And I'm like, you can take her license tag if you want. It's her car. Your beef is with me. So I'm standing there trying to argue. She's just like, get in the car. Get in the car. I guess in her mind, she's thinking this could elevate. Because they're now all employees in the parking lot. And Smooch's brain was probably a little bit more rational. She's thinking these people could hop in their car and grab a gun at this point. Like, I mean, I wasn't in the parking lot doing anything to warrant that. But we've seen enough times on the news where somebody got their hands up and get shot dead because the police did it. So, you know, people could have just acted like I was doing more, shot us both dead and told the police whatever story they wanted to. So I get where she was. But in my head, I still had everything under control. I'm just trying to set them straight, let them know they're all ignorant. They're not taking pictures of my license tag and whatever else, which it never even ended up to nothing. We left. No one, I mean, there was nothing to call the police about. I'm asking you to get your dirty hands out my bag. I'm ripping the bag, and I'm not answering the manager about what's going on. Ask your employee what's going on. But when she kept yelling and yelling, and she was standing behind me and breathing down my back, that's when I turned around like, ma'am, look, I don't know who you think you're talking to. I'm not a child. I don't owe you nothing, but I will rip you to pieces, because at that point I had enough. So with all that being said, that's not a proud story. I'm telling that story to say, I don't do that every day in my life. That same situation, had she just came out there and said, what happened? What happened? I want somebody to tell me what happened, and nobody answered her, she could have just went to the back. It would have never escalated. The fact that she kept standing behind me like, ma'am, you child, I'm telling you, I want you to answer me. I want you to tell me. And I'm like, baby, I don't know who you think you're talking to. I'm a whole grown woman. I don't know what I look like to you. I know I'm short, but I'm a full grown woman. You don't speak to me that way. So again, she pushed me and pushed me and pushed me for me to bring out the old me that I try not to be, but it's still in my DNA because I ain't changed. That's it. That's all. Does it make sense to you all what I'm talking about? Can we change because we go to therapy for 2 years? You can probably suppress some things, do some things differently, and temporarily stop certain behaviors, but change is the operative word. Can we change? I believe DNA changes us, and ain't nobody changing, because ain't nobody's DNA changing. I went deep, and I know, but if you've been watching my channel, y'all know that's how I think. I go deep. I think deep. I don't think of things the way the average person does, because my brain is wired a certain way. And I will take something that seems simple and have you thinking like, well, wait just a minute. Not everybody, but anyway, listen, I'm going to hop off this topic. I want to know what you think, though. I don't have a takeaway for this topic. Yeah, because it's really a question. Do you agree that someone can go to therapy and change? Or do you agree? Because some people think I go to therapy for 5 years, I'm a changed person. Some people believe that. I don't. Or do you believe, no, it would take chromosomes, DNA, and all that stuff that made you from conception to change you. Those things would have to change. So what do you think about that topic, y'all? It was deep. I had fun with it. I hope you all did. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Keep watching. I will see you all next time.